Hello and welcome to Unapologetic, the UK podcast on politics, news and stuff from a right of centre viewpoint. Three of us tonight. We've got Sam.
Hello.
Jonathan.
Hello.
And I'm Steve. As usual, we're going to tick our way through a bunch of topics. We've got a few more than usual tonight because Sam decided she wanted to talk for a long time. This is not uncommon for Sam, is it, Sam?
No.
Anyway, you're going to speak louder than that though, I hope, because...
to be fair, you do the most talking in all of this.
That's true. But then I am hosting it. You should host the next one.
Okay.
Okay, you did host one once before though and our views were terrible on it.
They actually were really good.
Okay, the first item is homeowners will be stopped from buying coal and wet wood logs from next year as part of the government clampdown on toxic air pollution. An estimated 2.5 million homes in the UK have hearths with open fires and wood-burning stoves. But from 2021, traditional coal and wet wood used by thousands across Britain will be phased out amid concerns that tiny pollutant particles, it's not easy to say that sober, emitted when they burn can lead to serious health conditions. Wetwood logs have not been purposefully dried out to reduce their moisture content after being chopped down or collected. The move could force thousands of households to switch to more expensive alternatives, with critics last night warning that some will be left unable to heat their homes. The new rules will only apply to the sale, distribution and marketing of wet wood, and it will not be illegal to own or burn wet wood after the cut-off date, whether from your garden or a shop. So what do you make of this, Jonathan? You asked for this to be on the agenda. What do you think?
Well, there's all sorts of things with this. I mean, having sort of banned people from burning this stuff, how's it going to be policed?
Well,
they're not going to sell it, are they?
They always ban things without even knowing how they're going to police it. But they can ban the sale, can't they?
Well, yes, but what they don't realise is that the problem with these pollutants isn't actually the people who are burning this green wood or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't admit to doing this myself, but say for the sake of argument, I had a friend called Zebedee who was quite happy burning lengths of broken up windows or floorboards or bits of furniture, whether they've got paint or varnish or lead paint on them or not. And again, my friend Zebedee tells me that it's these fires are very they're very good at burning things. You can burn plastic bottles, you can burn cardboard, you can burn paper. I suspect most of these pollutants which they claim are coming from this wood isn't necessarily coming from this wood. It might be coming from the lead paint that's on other wood.
So I had a bit of a ding-dong with this on Facebook with someone, and this person said 80% of the pollutants in the air are caused by the burning of these types of woods. I've no idea that people just pluck these figures out of thin air and you don't know if they're right or not. But I mean that made me have a think about it. What do you make of it, Sam?
Well, everyone had fires in their house for hundreds and hundreds of years before we had main gas fires, and people seem to live. I mean, admittedly, air quality probably wasn't as good, but then who knows? People had less cars, so maybe air quality was better. I just think a lot of people, have house fires and things because some areas you can't get, you're not on mains gas, so people use fires to keep warm.
This seems to me like one of those stupid things that new governments do because they think somehow it's going to be popular. And I don't think they ever... alongside the banning of diesel and petrol cars, which is utterly mental in my view, the idea to ban these type of woods, what the Conservative Party are going to do is alienate a lot of their traditional supporters and start already the dissatisfaction with government, don't you think?
Well, yeah, and also they're not thought of the knock-on effects because a lot of people that have sort of these... wood burning and coal burning fires are in, like I say, in areas without mains gas, and they have to have oil, and they'll probably just order more oil. So if they want to have, they're going to just be encouraging oil use rather than gas use. Coal use, sorry.
I mean, sales of bagged traditional coal will be phased out by February 2021, and the sale of loose house coal direct to customers will end by 2023. Now, what the difference is between coal that's in a bag and coal that's loose, I have no idea, or why you would even differentiate between the two. But presumably it's so that you have to bring your own bag rather like you do with the supermarket.
Or maybe it's something to do with the stocks that are held and the lobbying from the companies that are saying
my guess is that
stocks.
the bagged coal anyone can sell in supermarkets and stuff, can't they? Whereas the loose coal comes from coal merchants.
I mean, I just think it's all. I just wish that we've got a Conservative government. They hadn't immediately gone to this whole green alarmist gobbledygook, because it's going to come back to haunt them. I mean, in a few years' time, this is all going to come back to haunt them.
Yeah, but as I say, I mean, there doesn't appear to be any sort of science behind this idea that these pollutants are actually coming from this coal and this wood.
No, there's definitely science, but
well,
you know, with
yes,
all of these things, there's always science, and then there's other science that suggests something else, isn't there?
The chances are that they haven't done a survey which correlates the incidence of wood-burning stoves with that type of pollution. And I don't think there is a correlation between the two. What I do think there might be is people like my friend Zebedee who will quite happily burn, paint with toxic paint and all sorts in a wood-burning stove, and it's got nothing to do with coal and nothing to do with wet wood. I mean, they're talking about, you can dry your own wood. Well, you can if you leave it for 3 years.
Does your friend Zebedee have a friend called Ermintrude?
Possibly.
Yeah, but the thing is, it won't be illegal to own or burn wet wood, so people will still just cut down trees in their own garden, go and pick up scrap wood from places,
or
and just
dive
burn
into
that.
bins, into skips.
It won't make much difference, I don't think. I think people will find ways around it like they always do, or just go and stock up in coal in 2023 and have a massive coal storm.
But the trouble with all these new laws and these new criminalisations is they're making more and more people into criminals. Everyone, and what that does is it damages respect for the law. If you're regularly breaking the law because you think it's stupid in some respect, it damages your respect for the law overall. I mean, I wish governments would just stop banning things all the time. It drives me mad.
Yeah, got to agree. I mean, if you were going to police this, what would you need to do? You'd need to introduce legislation requiring people to have, CCTV over their wood-burning stove to a central control room with a group of observers there to monitor what you're actually putting on the stove.
They'll give it to councils to monitor, and they'll give councils yet more powers to enter your home and interfere in your business.
Well, I don't think they've got a right to enter your home over this.
Not yet, but there's lots of things they do have rights to enter your home over. More and more things they can surveil you about, more and more things they can enter your home about, and this will just become another one, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, but it's ludicrous, frankly. But and they've identified the wrong source of the toxins, I think.
Anyway, moving on. A British pensioner who is serving an 8-year sentence for smuggling £1 million worth of cocaine on a cruise has said she fears she will die behind bars. Susan Clark, 71, is jailed at Portugal's maximum security prison and is now waiting for biopsy results after she found a lump in her left breast. The grandmother of 8, from Kent, has grown frail and lost more than 2.5 stone since she was convicted alongside her husband Roger, 72. She told the Sunday People, which is where I nicked this story from, "We were made an example of, but I've been handed a death sentence. My worry is I'll never be free and I'll be leaving here in a box." So, do you feel sorry for her, Sam, or not?
Not really. She smuggled drugs. Don't smuggle drugs.
Don't want to end up in prison in a box. Yeah. Don't smuggle serious drugs across the borders.
I think part of her thinking was, I'm getting on a bit. I would like some luxury in my life. I will smuggle some drugs, and either I will succeed, or if I don't succeed, I'll get locked up and I will be cared for the remainder of my days.
Well, I bet she thought the courts would go easy on them if they were.
Well, that's the other possibility. I think the courts go easy on them, but even if they don't, actually a prison regime when you're 80 is not far different from a care home. So it's got the.
What sort of pensioners decide to go on a cruise and the pair of them, husband and wife, say, "You know what we'll do? We'll just smuggle £1 million worth of cocaine while we're doing it." I mean, there's some gumption there, even if they are idiots. But what a stupid thing to do. So you don't feel at all sorry for them, Sam? Do you feel at all sorry for her, John?
No, and I've got news for her, that everyone dies eventually.
That's true. And it's sad that when somebody gets cancer, definitely. And I feel sorry for her that she's ill. But if she didn't want to risk life being in prison, she shouldn't have broken the law, should she?
No.
I mean, it's hard to feel much sympathy beyond that. Next one is EU members are fighting like ferrets in a sack. And they're fighting over the Brexit budget black hole as Brussels bosses count the cost of life without Britain. On one side is the frugal five, frugal 5, I'm bad with those. Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Sweden and Denmark. And on the other is a group of less wealthy EU member states calling itself the Friends of Cohesion, which rejects cuts in regional funds and the Common Agricultural Policy known as CAP. One EU diplomat said, and now we are fighting like ferrets in a sack. A senior Brussels official admitted, in this negotiation we are not expecting member states to be happy, but the degree of dissatisfaction will be the key. So do you feel sorry for them, Sam?
I'm not really quite sure what they're saying. They're just saying they're not happy that we've left the EU. Is that the gist of it?
No, they're saying that because we've left the EU, they've lost all those billions that we used to pay in.
Well, yeah,
and now they expect the member states to fill the gap, and no one wants to do it.
Well,
Germany Germany and France are like, we already pay too much, and then all these poor states are like, well, hold on a minute, we joined because we ain't got a lot of money and we want you to give us money. There weren't a lot of net contributors, and we were one of the big ones.
well,
Second biggest.
everyone could have predicted this, really, couldn't they? It's not a surprise.
Jonathan, how do you feel?
Almost disinterested, really.
Well, I've got to tell you, when I read it, I was laughing my pants off.
I think most people
Because
would.
they didn't have to be here, did they? I mean, I've always wanted us to Brexit, but if they'd have given David Cameron a decent deal that he could sell to the British, the vote would have been to remain. A narrow vote, but the vote would have been to remain.
Yeah.
But they were so cocky and sure of themselves and all bullish and brave. Oh, we'll smash the British. We're in charge. You can't do what you want. And now they're really paying the price, aren't they? And where's these shortages we were promised? Where's this disaster striking Britain, Sam?
Well, there isn't one yet, although we are still in the transition period, aren't we? So we shouldn't get too cocky yet.
Oh, come
but,
on. We're always in a something.
But, yeah, I don't think we're going to have as terrible time as they say that we are.
They said the day after we voted to leave, it was going to go wrong. They said the day after the articles were submitted, we would go wrong. They said the day after the general election, it would go wrong. And they said the day after we officially left, it would go wrong. And now it's been delayed until the end of the transition period.
I think the most significant thing with this, and I've noticed this, is that you can't get cherry scones at Tesco's anymore. And I think that is probably the main change that has happened.
And you can't get your blue passport yet.
Well,
Boris has got one. I saw him with a picture of one.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, the government people have got one, but the real people, they're using up all the red stock still.
So as I understand it, you can only get your blue passport if your other ones run out. But I mean, that's crazy. They could make a load of money. They should do a commemorative edition with a special thing that you only get this one time. It's like a collector's item, and they should sell them for £100. Loads of people would buy them.
I've got news for you. It's about £100 to renew your passport anyway.
Oh right, £200. It's been a while since I've done mine. I can't forget. I thought it was about £70.
No, it's about 90 odd or something. But I got to renew mine, and I'm now left. Do I go to have one of the last red ones in Britain, or do I go and have one of the first blue ones in Britain?
Some lefty online was like, but they're printed in France. And I was like, who gives a stuff? We're not opposed to international trade. We were just opposed to being part of an international trade bloc.
What I was puzzling over is if they have the 4-hour turnaround service, how do they get them from France in 4 hours?
They're made up of components that are... they've already been printed, basically.
What 4-hour turnaround service?
There's like a thing about if you need to replace an expired passport, you can do it in 4 hours.
Well, my guess is that probably isn't as effective as they claim.
I think it is.
Anyway, moving on. Where am I up to?
I don't know. This is a bit.
Oh, we're going to go to American politics now. So, Senator Bernie Sanders claimed a major victory in the Nevada caucuses on Saturday that demonstrated his broad appeal in the first racially diverse state in the presidential primary race and established him as the clear frontrunner for the Democratic nomination. It's a significant show of force. Mr. Sanders, a Liberal from Vermont, had a lead that was more than double his nearest rivals, with 50% of his precincts reporting, and the Associated Press named him the winner on Saturday. So guys, that sort of makes it look like, unless they scupper him, like some people say they did last time for Clinton, unless they scupper him, he's going to be the guy standing against Trump this year. Bernie Sanders, what do you make of that? Jonathan?
Well, which state are we talking about here?
Nevada.
Well, this is Nevada.
Nevada. Population?
No, I don't know. What do you want
Not
me
a
to do?
lot.
Pop that out? Get out of it. There's loads of people live in Nevada.
Is there?
It's got Vegas in it.
I thought it's like... Oh yeah, that's true.
It's lots of desert, don't
Yeah,
get me wrong.
yeah.
But then all of America's pretty open. It's not a densely packed place, you know. It's big.
But how many of those are actually Democrats anyway? Because it's the Democrats, bear in mind, who are selecting their leaders.
Well, it's a swing state, isn't it, Nevada?
Yeah, but it is mostly Democrats. Population of Nevada is 3 million, so I wouldn't say it was small.
Remember,
I would, actually.
remember
compared with...
the point of this is the Democratic caucuses, so they're only voting between different Democratic candidates.
Yeah.
And they've got a bunch of them, and originally Joe Biden was the leader, but he's kind of failed away as he's sort of looked infirm and he hasn't made a lot of sense and he's made a lot of gaffes. And then there's a few others. There was Elizabeth Warren, and who else have we got? The Buttigieg, I can't pronounce his name. He's the sort of lesser known mayor. And then Klobuchar, yeah, she's an odd fish. But I mean, really, there's the new one, Bloomberg, who's a billionaire who's worth more than Trump, much more than Trump. And he kind of bought his way into it late in the game. So he's jumped a load of the other Democratic debates and
then
just
there's
jumped in.
Tom Steyer and Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, they're sort of nobody thinks they've got any chance. They're just kind of hanging on there because they hope that if it gets to a Democratic convention, you see, if they haven't got a winner by the time they get to their Democratic convention, then they all go and kind of horse trade to decide and promise one another cabinet positions and stuff. But this hasn't happened in a long, long time. So it's got people salivating over it.
It'd be interesting to see what happens, but I'm not convinced he's got it totally in the bag at this stage.
Well, the problem with he has. I think most people would say he's likely to be the candidate unless the Democratic machines stop him, and they want to stop him because he's absolutely Fruit Loops. He's worse than Corbyn. I mean, he's madder than Corbyn. He's more left wing, more socialist. You know, he's a real crazy coot, and I think broadly, most of the media, the Democratic media, are terrified as well because they think this is another 4 years of Trump we've got here. Because just like Corbyn brought the Labour Party to ruin, Sanders will do exactly the same thing. He appeals to this small left-wing base of very enthusiastic near-communists, if you like, in America, and they make a lot of noise. And they've pushed him forwards. And what do you think, Sam? Do you think he's going to be? Do you think he can beat Trump?
No way.
He had a caucus. Not a caucus. He had a
no
a rally.
way.
He had a rally in Nevada, and his rally, I mean, you had to see, I don't know if you've seen the video of it, but compared to the Trump rallies, which have tens of thousands of people and more waiting outside, his looked a bit tame, to be frank. And his speaking was halting and ropey.
Is Nevada a Democrat state?
It is usually a Democrat state, I believe.
Yeah.
Sam, you've got the notes up there with
I think
you?
it is, yeah.
It certainly isn't.
That
It certainly
surprises
isn't a safe Republican seat.
No, but
It's not a Texas.
yeah, but you are, we're in spitting distance of California, and
California is a massive Democrat
the
state.
most massive Democrat state.
Yeah, it goes massive
Of
Democrat.
all of them, yeah.
It's the biggest Democrat state there is.
Yeah, it's the one with a huge population that think that they can overrule all the other states by changing the system so that instead of having nominees, they have an overall number of people voting. They'd like to change the system, but they ain't going to do it.
I was reading a little bit about Bernie Sanders.
Oh, I saw in his rally, he was just promising free thing after free thing after free thing, and no clue about how it's going to be paid for. He's like, he was saying, too many people are saddled with college debt, so we're going to wipe all college debt. Too many people have to pay for medicine, so we're going to wipe all medicine. No costs for any medicine. And what each solution to every problem that he proposed was, we're going to make it all free. And and then he said, we're going to have this Green New Deal, which, by the way, is going to cost trillions and trillions of dollars. This bonkers Green New Deal that they've fabricated up. And he said, but don't worry, because it will produce hundreds of thousands of well-paid union jobs. And it's just such poor economics. It drives me mad.
Well, he said he can beat Trump on his website. He said he's beating him 51 to 43. Apparently, he's the only campaign with more donations than Trump, beating Trump in over 60 polls and the fastest campaign ever to reach 1 million donors.
Well, let's be fair, on his own website...
I mean, you could do your own poll, couldn't you? You could be like, poll of
let's
like
do a
3
poll.
people.
If so, we've got 3 people here. Sam, who would you vote for, Trump or Bernie?
Trump.
Who would you vote for, Jonathan, Trump or Bernie?
tricky one this, but definitely Trump.
And I'm going Trump. So, according to this caucus...
This survey...
Okay, time for us to stop fumbling around American politics that we know little about and move on. So, here's a good one. Men are more likely to have small testicles and a low sperm count if they eat junk food, a study has found. Research shows that those who eat a diet rich in fish, chicken, fruit, veg and water produce the most sperm and have the biggest testicles. Eating processed food and red meat has the opposite effect, Harvard University found. The findings come after researchers analysed the health and diet of 2,935 men with an average age of 19 during military service and entrance exams. The men's testicle size was measured, and the number, shape, and swimming ability of their sperm was also analysed. The Sun reports. I snicked this one from the Sun. According to study leader Dr. Fabi Nassan, hope I said that right, men can boost their chances of becoming a dad by eating a balanced diet. So, Jonathan,
Well, first of all,
how much junk food do you eat? First of all, a lot, not a lot.
not a lot really. But,
So really, you should be heavy on the scales, as
but
it were.
the idea that the idea that people eat junk food aren't able to reproduce, it just defies,
I eat a lot of junk food and my
It's-
balls aren't big.
yeah.
I mean, have they ever been to Essex?
I don't get the joke.
No, right, fair enough.
Yeah, so
What's the joke?
So you eat a lot of junk food, but you say this doesn't reflect on you, Sam. But then, of course, you aren't a man, so it wouldn't.
I might identify as a man.
Well, do you?
Yeah, I do today
Alright, so-
for the purposes of this study.
So from now on, if you're speaking to Sam, he wants you to identify...
No, my pronoun isn't he.
Oh, what is your
Let's
pronoun?
assume my pronoun.
What's your preferred pronoun?
I don't know, one of them Z or something. I don't know, another Zebedee.
Lord?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Lord Sam?
This ridiculous sort of MS thing that sort of feminists use. I remember being in a queue with my mother in a bank.
Ms.
Because they put
Nobody uses
on-
mus anymore.
No,
Jonathan.
I didn't think
That's
that-
so 1990 wants its terms back.
I didn't think that was a feminist thing. I thought that was what you put if you weren't sure if someone was married or not married.
No,
It's a
some
polite
sort
way of
nutty
not
feminist
referring to
thing.
marriage.
But
I
the
thought it was like an
I
uncertainty
remember,
thing.
as I say, being in this queue with my mother and her going berserk in this bank because they put Ms on her checkbook. And
Was your mum highly strung?
no, she just didn't like people implying that she was a lesbian, I think. Because
I think that's what it means.
it is. There's a strong correlation, shall we say, between women who insist on MS and those who are, sort of
Okay, boomer.
aren't really into blokes.
So here we are. So we know all this about junk food. Now, I've got a few questions, if I'm honest.
My question is, what do they define as big? And how did they measure it? Like, did they literally just get a tape measure
Well, I feel
out
sorry
and
for
then
these
ask them for
guys
their
in-
diet?
I feel sorry for these guys in the army. They're like, get your tackle out. We're just going to measure it in all the dimensions, and then we're going to need some samples because we need to test the swimming rate.
Yeah, that's another point, actually. I hadn't even thought about.
Exactly. They've got to test them. They've got to get them out, haven't they?
I mean, the other thing is, it's not a typical cross-section of the population anyway, because these are military recruits round about the ages of 18 or 19. And so that, okay,
And correlation does not equal causation either.
No.
Right, for all they know, it might be that it's being in the military that changed the necessary sizes or created the swimming rate.
Or, yeah, exactly.
And also, there's salad in burgers, so they can't just use the junk food excuse.
So, no, burgers is a mixed meal. It's got protein, it's got carbohydrates, it's got vitamins, it's got everything in it. It's got bread, which is good for you, I'm reliably told. How much junk food do you need to eat before, you get small balls?
Oh,
That's
they
the question.
don't
And their
actually
sperm
tell you
don't
that.
even work.
And I mean, if there are sort of huge fat knackers joining the American army, why? Yeah.
Why not?
Well,
All right, it's time to move swiftly on. So, a bride's dream day quickly turned into a nightmare when she was dumped by her new husband for punching his sister at the reception. Sam's asked for this one to be put in. She likes a bit of the old gossip. The newlywed was seeking advice on how to win her partner back after admitting she had lost control when her sister-in-law made the day a living hell. The bride claims that she had strolled in drunk, threw up on the gift table, and stole money given to them by other guests, while attempting to clean up the mess she had made. To top it all off, she proposed to her boyfriend, who said no. As her patience wore out, the bride lashed out and revealed that she had punched her sister-in-law as a result of her drunken antics. Rather than focusing on his own frustrations on the chaos his sister had caused, the husband instead chose to break things off with the woman he had vowed to spend the rest of his life with, just hours before. It sounds like a dramatic day. What do you think, Jonathan?
no, weddings are like this, aren't they?
All of them?
Not all of them, but I mean, I certainly know of one where the best man came out as a gay and announced his undying love to the groom. In his best man speech.
How'd that work out?
The groom then tried to punch his lights out.
Oh dear.
So that
A bit
didn't work out.
homophobic then.
Yeah.
It could have been like, well, that's nice for you, mate, but I'm getting married.
I used to work for an engineering company in the Midlands, and the son of the the guy who owned the place managed to punch his father-in-law unconscious at the reception, and they ended up sort of both families fighting and the police being called.
I've never been to one of these dramatic weddings. That's like
You
something
just
from
missed
Hollywood.
out.
Yeah, you really missed out.
Yeah.
Like weddings and funerals, anything like family oriented, there's always some argument.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a physical fist fight, there's always someone that's like on the edge of having a big bust up if they don't have a bust up.
Family
Like you're
succession
managing,
couples,
managing the bust up. People are managing the. It's definitely. It's just.
Yeah,
a
but
thing.
come on, the sister-in-law came in, strolled in drunk, threw up on the table, stole all their money. I mean, this isn't normal. Well, it might be normal for Essex.
No, it's not normal, but she shouldn't have punched her either. I mean, you can't use violence. To me, it just sounds like two chavs having a big row with each other. And to be honest with you, rather than the husband sticking up for his sister or his wife, he should have just said to them, "Do you know what? The both of you are absolutely crazy," and just walked away from the both of them.
Opened a book on betting on who was
Oh
going to
no,
win
he
the
should
fight.
have just walked away from both of them. His sister sounds mad, his wife sounds mad. They all just sound like just crazy girls.
What they missed out on, of course, is the groom actually having sort of slept with both of them. Which
One of
would
them's his
would-
sister.
Oh, okay, that would have been a better story.
Terrible story. So look, I've got a bit more of this.
Although, you're right, that would have been more dramatic. It was not his sister, it was her sister, right? So it was her sister, and then all this stuff happened. They had a big bust up, and then he was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, FYI," and then just dropped that bombshell.
Well, look, after the post was shared on Twitter, many people chirped in with their own opinions on the soap-worthy drama, with some questioning why she would want her husband back at all. One wrote, "He did you a favour, call a divorce lawyer," although I would say they did him a favour. Another replied, "Win him back? Do you really feel like you were wrong? Are you sure you want to marry into this family? Consider this divine intervention." But I don't know, I mean, she seems just as bad as them. It almost sounds like a match made in heaven. Anyway, you asked for this crazy story, Sam. And by the way, apologies to Essex. I've got nothing against you, really. You're just good fun to take the mick out of. So, anything else to add? Anything?
We haven't got any viewers in Essex, so
How do you know that?
No,
Our views are regularly several thousand now.
the
We
thing-
don't know
the
where
thing-
they are.
See, the thing is to start regularly abusing people from Essex and see how many complaints you get.
See if anyone replies. And if you're from Essex and you don't like what I've said, can you just drop a comment so we know you're out there? And also, can anybody start doing some comments? Because we don't get a lot of comments, and we'd love to see what you think, even if it's just "shut up, you idiots."
Well, we usually do have people saying that, don't we? Kalodna 666.
Oh yeah, good old. No, I'm not even going to say the name. Good old hypothetical person. Anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much it for now. So call it a day. We have been Unapologetic, the UK podcast on politics, news, and stuff from a right of centre viewpoint. Say goodbye, Sam.
Bye.
Goodbye, Jonathan.
Cheerio.
I'm Steve, and I'll talk to you all soon.